Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and here's a 3-set video for you. So, today it is the day after Christmas. I hope all of your Christmas wishes came true. Or if they didn't, I hope at least it wasn't totally horrible. And this morning, I had a mammogram. It was my first one. Actually, wasn't too bad. It was a 3D mammogram. So I took a 3D image of my pieces, and the technician will read them and tell me whether or not everything's okay. I fully expect everything's okay. And, I got to thinking, this is just a pretty normal procedure for anyone after you reach a certain age. Just kind of a pre-screening sort of thing. I know there's, for instance, there's cancer in my family, just like there is in many families. Not specifically breast cancer, but, it's, cancer happens. And you can't always pick where it happens. And if it was in my breasts, well, honestly, they're pretty easy to remove. I'm sure it'd be annoying as all get out, and there would be some mixed feelings, etc., if that were to happen. But in reality, it's a surgery to do what they have to do. Okay, fine. There's other types of cancer that are much harder to manage and deal with. And that's just kind of a reality of life. And I know several members of my family have passed due to cancer, and I know some have not passed. They've been in remission post-cancer, so cancer is kind of complicated in my world. But as I was walking out of the clinic this morning, and I had to stop and get gas because, it's a reality thing. Got to put gas in the car if I want to go somewhere. Make sure the lights are on. And so I got to thinking, maybe it's time for a reality check. Because so often we get wrapped up in our practice and the things we're doing for, or as a pagan, or as a witch, or for our community or our families, or anything like that. We forget to take care of ourselves. So reality check number 1, take care of yourself. If that's your New Year's resolution for self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, then by golly, I hope you do it. Because that's one that we can work on ourselves. We don't have to go get an expensive membership somewhere at a gym. We don't have to get a personal trainer. We don't have to eat special food or anything. Just learn how to accept yourself. If that means you write positive affirmations on your mirror to look at in the morning, then that's what you should do. Or I'm sure there's apps out there that will send you the positive affirmation of the day kind of thing. Absolutely, do it. Whatever it is, reality check number one, accept yourself. Be the best you that you can be. It doesn't matter who you're around or what you do or anything like that. Just be you and accept yourself. So reality check number 2 has more to do with the medical field. So I just had the mammogram. That was a pre-screening thing. The medical world out there has come a long way. We don't, bleeding is no longer a accepted practice, to get rid of the evils in your blood or that kind of thing. Leeches are used not so much to, suck out the toxins in your system, but more to relieve the pressure around like black eyes or hematomas and that kind of thing. They have a better understanding of the body, and the medical world is not quite as barbaric as it used to be. Shoot, even dentists, who often use pointy, shiny instruments in your mouth to pick and scrape and drill and et cetera, please hit you up with some Novocaine first, or lidocaine, or whatever those different elements are. It's not just bite on a clove and hope for the best, and then when you're in so much pain you tap it out with a chisel. It's not like that anymore. which is good. And there's a reason why pulling teeth is a form of torture. It hurts like a mofo. But the reason why I bring this up is because often, and I mean this in a generalization, and it's not just for pagans, this is for everybody. Often we put our faith so strongly in the hands of a deity that we ask them to heal us and take care of us and take away the pain, the cancers, etc., that we forget that the world of medicine is out there. Now, if you stop and think about it, the world of medicine has evolved and was created. Hippocrates, has the whole oath and the Hippocratic oath and everything. And if you really want your faith to heal you, stop and think about who created medicine, who allowed for all those inventions to happen, who was the inspiration for a lot of those inventions and those advancements in the medical field. They didn't just happen. I mean, seriously, someone had to sit down and study and learn things and get inspired to go down this path or that path. And odds are pretty good that there is the hand of at least one deity in that exploration, or muse, or spirit guide, or whatever. It wasn't just a random happenstance. The gods interact with us differently than they used to, and they're not quite as hands-on like they used to be, and that's okay. I wish they'd come back, and there's some questions I'd love to ask, but that's my thing. That's between me and my deities and my guides. But that medical field, you can't put all of your faith into a god or goddess and say, hey, if you're real, you're going to heal me. Never going to happen. Okay. Not going to say never. The odds of it happening, pretty much limited. I mean, there's the whole faith healing thing, and I get it. Miracles do happen. They do. But there's a whole sect of people out there, cult followers, believers, or whatever you want to call them, that firmly believe that if they just pray hard enough, they will be healed. They don't believe in medicine. Well, by golly, who do you think had their hand in creating it? And now, I'm not saying don't make the sacrifice, don't pray, don't petition the gods or goddesses, for, help, because I think that's important. You should stay in touch with them, by golly. But you have to make the effort to do your part too. And that means going ahead and going to the doctor and get the screening. Going ahead and going to the doctor and get the immunization. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of people out there that are being labeled as anti-vaxxers. I've got mixed feelings on that. On the one hand, I think too many vaccines are a legit thing. Yes. However, those vaccines are there to protect the population as a whole. It's for the success of the human race. And someone says, oh, well, vaccines cause autism. You know what? No. That's false science, and that is someone who, that first concept, I made the results up, only tested an audience that was going to give him the results that he wanted. It was not true testing or true material. And it's frustrating because there's so many people who have glommed onto that particular test and those results and everything else, assuming that that's legit. And it's frustrating because that's not real. Now, for a certain section of the population, there is going to be an adverse reaction. to anything that you might take, whether it's medications, chocolate, peanuts, etc. It doesn't matter. There are some people who just are going to have a negative reaction to whatever is put into their bodies. And that's unfortunate, and it's crappy. And I'm not going to say it's not. But it's a smaller percentage. And, growing up, I had a friend whose father had polio, lost his lung. Like 50% of his lung capacity was gone due to polio. Is that better than autism? That you think is going to be happening? No, it's not. Measles for men specifically. If your temperature gets too high and attacks your testes, that's your balls, guys. You become infertile. If that temperature gets high enough, you can't have kids. Now, when you're 12, you're not going to think about that very much. You're 24, 36. Yeah, you are. You're going to think about it a lot, and you're going to be really grouchy at your parents for not taking care of you and doing what they needed to do. Or go into the military. You want to get stationed overseas, see some of the world? Yeah, you're going to get some vaccines. It's going to happen. Actually, if you get deployed overseas, you're going to get some vaccines anyways, because there's just certain things you got to be vaccinated against. And it's, I don't know that I would go so far as to say it's illegal to not get vaccinated like it has happened in some places. Although, I can see why. I really, truly can. We're going to deal with a measles outbreak, polio outbreak, mumps, any of that stuff. Yeah. It's not good. Now, I say this as someone who's been in the special needs community off and on for a while. I have been around the autistic population. And how dare you say that autism is worse than death? Excuse me. I'm feeling pretty emotional about this. Because it's not. And shame on you for minimalizing those who have autism by doing that. Shame on you. The medical world is out there to help us. There's a fair number of folks that, yes, are out there for the almighty dollar. And it doesn't matter what industry you are in. There is those. Doesn't matter if it's plumbing or medical. There are people who are more interested in making a buck than they are in doing their jobs properly or doing it right. Fortunately, those are the smaller numbers. More people are actually in the medical field to help people. So, reality check. Get the vaccine. Most of those have been around long enough that you know what the adverse side effects are. It's not a mystery anymore. So do it. Get the screenings. Make sure you don't have cancer. Or if you do have cancer, so you can catch it in an early stage. Because that's kind of important too. It's a lot easier to get yourself rid of the cancer if it hasn't metastasized to your whole body. I'm not saying stop eating the yummy, awesome foods and the treats. I'm saying moderation. Take care of yourself. Everything in moderation. If you're doing something to excess, you need to stop thinking about why you're doing it to excess. If you're drinking too much, eating too much, any of that stuff, why are you doing it? Maybe it's time for some shadow work or therapy. It's okay. Therapy is your friend. Don't just go with the first therapist you go to if you don't feel like you're getting the results. Just like anybody else in the medical field, you're the boss. If you don't like your doctor, you don't like your therapist, fire them. Go get a different one. It's okay. That being said, I hate training a new doctor because I have some medical issues to deal with. But trying to educate a new one is frustrating at best. So, accept yourself. It's reality number 1. 2, take care of yourself. Get the Go to the clinic, make the appointment, get your annual wellness exam. Most of your insurance companies will cover that anymore. It's part of the Obamacare, at least here in the U.S. It's an integral part of the ACA. So while it's still legal, yep, go out there and get your butt screened for whatever it is you got to do. Diabetes is a lot easier to manage if you find out that you're pre-diabetic rather than advanced. It's just all there is to it. Reality check number 3 goes back to the deities. Stop pushing Abrahamic followings and habits and dogma onto pagan traditions. Okay, this is going to be a 15-minute video, and here I'm screaming past 15. Because that is dogma that goes with Christianity. Drop it. Actually, my show on Friday or Saturday, or both possibly, are going to be talking about this. I have a guest on, and yeah, we're going to talk about dogma just a bit. Because it's real. And it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Part of dogma is why the initiation process into Melody Grove, Fond Glacier, my group, my circle, is going to have something to do with washing away your preconceived notions. Because, yeah, I think it's important to let go of those preconceived notions about religion and faith, because paganism is not about dogma. It really isn't. So, to recap, because I don't want this to go on too much longer, because, hey, maybe I want to listen to music. That happens. Accept yourself. I'm going to say that often. Seriously, that's the big one. Accept yourself. Accept the medical field for all that they do. If they screw up, I get it. We'll have another conversation about that another time. But get the vaccine. Get the screening, do what it is you have to do to take care of your health. Because that's really important. You want to be around for a little bit, you want to experience things, you want to see things, you want to do things. Take care of yourself. And don't judge others on that note, because they have different medical beliefs or medical opinions or medical needs. Accept them. Pretty sure they already judge themselves. Already have to deal with it themselves. It's frustrating when you have a medical issue and nobody believes you or nobody understands. Actually, it's probably worse that nobody understands. That's very, very vexing. 3, release the dogma. Let it go. Cleanse yourself of those preconceived notions that you grew up with or were impressed upon you. Just release it. Let it go. Ground it out. Wash it away. Seriously. You'll be better for it. You'll be happier for it. And it'll be easier to open your eyes. So there you go. My 3 cents. I'm going to keep it at 3 points today because, hey, it's 3 cents, right? Not 4, not 5, not 2. I can give you $1.50 if you really want me to keep going. So, 3 cents. 3 points. Accept yourself. Embrace taking care of yourself. And let go of the dogma. So, yeah, this is Paisley Wild. You're listening on the channel, The Spaces Between. Check out the Patreon site, www.patreon.com/The Spaces Between. I'll have more stuff up there at some point. Just got to have 2 minutes to sit down and not have any expectations to get anything else done. Because I actually have a bunch of material that need to load into Patreon. But you won't get it if you're not a patron. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and all that. If you want to keep listening to these 3-cent videos, please do so. I do love ideas. But if you really want to bump up your idea, hey, that's one of the levels of the Patreon account. I will embrace your idea, do research, and have a more opinionated, fact-based 3-cent video for you. Anyways, this is Paisley Wild. Have a good day, and thanks for listening.